is Jenny Chamberlain, and I like to welcome you to Tea Time with Jen. This is something that I started back in December, and I skipped January just because a lot of stuff was going on in our world. But it was something that I thought about doing because there's a lot of people out there, especially during the time of COVID, where we're going through some stuff, and we're making some life changes. And I thought, no one's really talking about this. We're all in different positions, especially those of us who are single. We live different lives, and we surround ourselves with community before COVID. And now COVID, we're like, okay, what do I do? Do I stay home and watch TV by myself? Do I call my girlfriends? You get zoomed out. Who's my pod? And so I thought, what? This is something that I'm going to create a podcast that's going to just create real, raw conversations, not just with single people. In future podcasts, we'll have different people for different reasons, sharing life. Because a lot of times, I think what COVID has taught me is that we try to live these perfect lives and not think about the imperfections that bring us closer. So I'm going to end it like that because I'm going to actually interview myself. But I want to introduce a really good friend of mine. Her name is Sonia Hassey. She's a CEO and founder of Women's Destiny Global. I met Sonia a few years ago at a women's conference with the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we could not stop talking. We became instant friends, and we have mutual interests, but our hearts are in the same place. And Sonia, I'm going to turn it to you. It's your show now, so go ahead.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to just welcome everybody. I think this is a wonderful time to come together as a community, to collaborate, and to just bring some brave conversations. And I also when I say brave, I'm actually speaking about vulnerable conversations, because I think all of us in one way or another, we have been affected this past year. And we're all different. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. I used to be an introvert. Now I definitely became an extrovert. And because I'm an extrovert, it has been very tough on me. It's hard for me to stay home. I need to connect. I need to hug. I need to love on people. I love that. And that's once I, discovered my life purpose, man. I just want to be out there and making things happen. And so I think now it's just really, really important to definitely come together. So when Jenny, said, man, let's have brave conversations. Let's do this because, again, we need community. We need community right now. We need to really start talking about things that are important to each and every one of us. So what would you say, Jenny? What would you say right now that is really at your heart core right now in regards to relationships and community?
I think, it's been tough, keeping those relationships and those friends that you're used to connecting in person. I am an extrovert, and you miss them. You miss that. And there's times where I find myself kind of getting lazy, which I'm not a lazy person, but I'm always just like, well, I'm just going to stay home tonight. And sometimes a friend will call me and say, hey, do you want to come over for coffee? And I have asthma, so COVID, I'm very careful. I have to keep my pod really small because I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And so, but there's times where well, I've just been binge watching Netflix all day and I just kind of want to finish binge watching this show. I can't get off of it. But you have to make that extra effort to create community differently.
Yes.
Right? Like for my 50th birthday, I had a quarantine. I came in contact with someone who was sick. And I had these plans made with my family to celebrate my birthday. My 50th birthday, it's a big one. And I had a quarantine. Now I had two choices, which very close I can go to choice number one, which choice number one is feel sorry for myself, cry, saying I have to spend my birthday alone and this sucks.
Yeah.
Right? I could do that. And I'm not gonna lie, there's that probability. But then you have to really, for me, I had to really dig in myself and say, who's my community? Who loves me? And so, and it works itself out. And I
Mhm.
have to tell you, although I spent my birthday alone, it was the best birthday. When
Wow,
I
that's
wouldn't have
awesome.
wanted to celebrate my 50th any better, because when I got home, my mom decorated my house. My house was decorated with
Oh,
balloons and cake. And then I had a good friend, I don't know if she's listening, Linda Chavez, who's just like me, we're
oh,
event planners. Um, she dropped off this care package with like dinner from my favorite Puerto Rican restaurant, with more cake and more cupcakes, more balloons, and
wow.
all these extra decorations. And she and my other friend, Linda Lemos, said, okay, we're just going to do Zoom between the three of us. And I'm going to cry because they surprise party Zoomed me, right?
Oh, I love
With
it.
my friends, and they gave me a bottle of champagne. And again, I could have looked at that and said, oh, this sucks. COVID's making my 50th suck. But I felt so loved.
Mm,
I felt loved. And that's where I think we all need to hold on to during this time. That's
yeah,
not look at what we don't have,
right.
but look at what we have. And what during this time of COVID, what has it brought us? What have we learned? And that's where I'm at right now. Oh, and
Mm.
by the way, to the audience, Sonia, I don't know what question Sonia is asking me. So
No,
we're just
not at
going,
all.
we didn't prepare. So go for it. Ask me any question, Sonia.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so, you know, for me during this time, it's like I know my divine purpose. I know it, but it has definitely taken it at a much, much deeper level. It truly has. It was, and it really happened in the midst of pain, pain of not being able to get out and commune with people and, and just like have fellowship. And it honestly, it's been really, really painful for me in many ways. Yeah, and I have cried. I'll just be honest with you. There's my vulnerability. I've been frustrated. I've been mad. And it's like, oh God, like, what do I do with this now? And what it has personally done for me, it has allowed me to really think about the things that I'm grateful for, like what you were just sharing. You could have taken it, you could have got pissed off, or you could have said, no, I'm still
I could have
grateful
cried
for my
myself to
friend.
sleep if I wanted to, right?
Exactly, exactly. And you didn't. And so now, like when I go visit my mom, it's at a deeper level. It's a deeper appreciation. When I see my children, it's a deeper appreciation. The conversations are deeper, and when I do see a friend here and there, it's I embrace it so much. Like it's just a deeper appreciation. And the saying, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And
Right,
it's
right.
so true. It's so true. So at the same time, it's brought a lot of beautiful nuggets, so with that being said, what has that done for you? How has it brought you, in a deeper level? What has it done for you?
I think this time, especially turning 50, it's allowed me to slow down. If anyone knows me, my life, I never, there was days I didn't get home from work till night, or not work, or just events. Like
Yeah.
my boss is not a work dog, but I have a job that that gives me opportunities to be in the public. I'm a leader in the community. I'm always in the public. So there's all these mix, which I always tell people, my work life and my social life intermix. And I don't know how to separate those two, because I go to these networking functions because my friends are there and they're fun and I like
Yeah.
connecting with people. But I was coming home late at night and just tired, but I did have fun. And I think right now, I think especially at this age, I'm looking back and I'm saying it's okay to slow down.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's given me time to reflect on my life these past 50 years. Or like I kind of look at it between my 20s and my 50s, because those are times of different types of growth as an adult, and reevaluate past relationships, reevaluate where am I now.
Yeah.
I just wrote a blog titled Living My Worst Nightmare and Loving It. Because when I was in my 20s, even in my 30s, right, being 50, single, with no biological children, was my greatest nightmare. And
Interesting.
I love my life. And I look back and I am where I'm at because I have chosen to be here. I've made life decisions to be where I'm at. And also with reflection, I'm able to appreciate my past,
Mm,
which I don't think a lot of us we allow ourselves to do, whether it be and recognize the people that were in our lives, recognize them for what they are.
mhm.
You know, I think a lot of times we look at maybe when we're dating somebody, oh, that guy was a jerk, or oh, what, you know, I let the good one go, or whatever. People
Right.
are in our lives for reasons, but I think up until now, there's always, I kind of dwelled on those regrets,
Mm,
which now they're not regrets for me anymore.
yeah.
They're part of who I am in
Yeah.
my imperfect life.
Right. I love what you said because as that's growth, by the way. That truly is growth because now you're not suffering. You're not in that suffering of regret. And regret is a very negative emotion. But when you learn to embrace it and see it, some of them were lessons, some were blessings, some were lessons. Now you know better, you do better. And that's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
We become stronger, we become more patient, we become less judgmental because now we know, whoa, I've made mistakes. So now we know, well, I can't be so judgmental. I can't be judgmental because, we all need grace,
Yeah.
especially now during
When
this
I
time.
think we're our worst, I think we are our worst judgers. We
Absolutely.
are
Oh, I
our worst
love that you said
critics.
that.
And not just our worst critics. I mean, I really want to use the word judge a lot of
Yeah.
times. We
Yeah.
judge ourselves. Oh, I should have taken that job, or I should have moved here. I mean, with any type of decision, and we have to realize when we're young and we're in our 20s, and if anyone who's on this watching 20s, this is meant to give you hope for your future,
Yes.
where you may be. You're trying to figure life out, right? You're trying to figure this out, and it's my 20s was a learning lesson, but I had fun at the same time.
Yeah.
But I can't look back at some of the things I did in my youth and say, oh man, I could have been a better person, or I could have been career wise, I could have been making this much more money, or whatever. I've chose this life and I have peace with it.
Right. And because this has been your journey and here you are now for such a time as this, what would you say is your absolute calling right now? What is that journey for you right now?
I think throughout my life, I've kind of seen it in bits. It's like a puzzle. Like my look at life as a puzzle, right?
Mhm.
And you're putting with each experience, you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
And if you look at it halfway's done, you're gonna be, well, what's this big picture supposed to be about? There
Yeah.
might be some disappointment. But at 50, realizing that I still got it, maybe I got part two of the puzzle to make. Um, I'm able to see reasons why,
Mm.
if that makes sense. I think
Mhm.
sometimes, during growth, um, instances happen. You're like, why did this have to happen? Or there's questions that you have about life that maybe you just don't get or understand at the time. I look back now at 50 and say, this is the reason why. I
Wow.
get it.
Yeah.
And I chose it.
Yeah.
We have to realize that we choose this. I
Hmm.
chose to be single 50. I chose, and all my life I kind of knew it, even though you have voices around you that tell you all the time where you need to be,
Yeah.
who you should be with, how you need to live your life. And it's a cultural expectation because a lot of us have those same expectations.
Yeah.
And to be okay and have peace with saying to yourself, I have broken the social norms, doesn't mean I'm better than someone who chose,
Right.
the different type of lifestyle, but I'm at peace with it.
Yeah.
And I say I have that now. I've obtained it because I've accepted it all. If that makes any sense.
Yes. So you're at peace with yourself.
Peace with myself and peace with my decisions.
Awesome. Which means you're in good relationship now with yourself.
I love myself.
Yeah, no regrets. You are present
I
where you're
am
at. Mhm.
present.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sonia.
Yes. Okay, so now I have a really brave question for you.
Okay.
So with that being said, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it is an absolute wholesome thing when you come to a place in your life where I like myself right now. I feel whole right now, and you're grateful for everything, the lessons and where you're at to this point, up to this point. So now, what if true love does come? Would you embrace that?
Sorry. Sonia, darn it. So many questions. You know,
Sorry, I had to ask that question.
I always say, well, let's backtrack a little bit and then I'll answer the question. Like I'm shaking, right? Like fear of commitment here. No, honestly, I think that, yeah, yes, I would embrace it, but I'm ready for it. Is that,
Oh, that's beautiful.
the
I
type
love
of
that.
person that I would date now is not the same type of person I would date 5 years ago,
Yeah, because you've
right?
evolved. Yeah,
Because I evolved and I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am as a woman. But but I always knew I wanted to wait.
yeah.
But because I had a lot of people, and those of you who go to church, you get influenced by the church at the same time. I'm not going to get, too religious on this, but you get pressure, or even me being Latina,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yes.
supposed to be
Yes.
married and have kids by the time you hit 25. If you're not married with kids at 25, now you're becoming an old maid. And then you hit your 30s. You think, well, at that time in our generation, you start hitting your 30s and you're like, well, there's a lot of people like me in their 30s are not getting married because that was a new thing a couple of years ago. And then, you know, and then you're having fun, but then you hit your late 30s and people remind you and you remind yourself, oh, your biological clock is ticking, right?
Yeah.
And and I always knew I wanted to adopt, but I didn't really think about having biological children till I hit my late 30s. And when you're OBGYN, which none of what this was like an old one, it's just what you might want to sperm bank. I mean, we're gonna be real. Like you might want to consider sperm banking it. And I was like, don't, I'm not ready to have kids. And I have friends who did that, who have
Yeah.
had that and they're happy. But deep down inside, I'm like, well, I feel pressure. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I felt like I always told myself in the back of my head, I need more time. But I had people tell me I didn't have enough time.
Mm.
And they do this out of love.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of them do. They don't do it out of judgment. They're sincerely worried about you. So then I felt, and I think a lot of people you feel this immense pressure to find somebody. And I wasn't ready yet, right? And there were times I felt lonely. I felt a little depressed. I'm like, but the truth is I've had my chances. I've had love.
Yeah.
I've had opportunities to marry. And I had some really awesome, amazing men in my life. Not a lot, not a lot, but very, I'll share my blog later, but I've just always had these dreams and these goals. And I was in a free spirit, right? And so you go through that and then you hit your 40s and you're like, well, I still got some time left to have kids. But listen to what I'm saying. I'm always talking about the biological clock and having kids
Yeah.
and the reason why I should marry. Right? I haven't said, oh, I wanted to marry and maybe I'll have kids later.
You're right. It sounds like you wanting to please, like, well, this is what everybody else is doing, so I need to follow,
Yeah.
be on the flow of where everybody else is doing.
Yeah. And I think even for women who want to have kids, biological children, um, I guess my question to the audience, I'm going to look straight at the audience is, are you wanting a companion?
Mm,
Are you wanting to be in a relationship? Do you want to get married because you want to have kids?
yeah.
And that's something to think about.
Yeah.
And that's a decision I did not make. Not that I didn't want, I mean, when your biology, when you're at that point where you know that you got 3 years left and maybe you're not going to be able to have kids, it's it's a it's a thought. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I I don't want to be in a relationship with someone just because I want to have kids. Um, so there we go, right? Because I kind of live this free life. I pick up my bags. I'm like, well, COVID makes it a little bit difficult. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go head out to Mendocino. I'm going to drive to, there's times where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Oregon tomorrow. I'm going to drive to Oregon. And I drive by myself. I love to take solo road trips because those are times for me to think.
Yeah.
Um, so there we go. So when I hit my late 40s, I'm like, about the panic, right? You feel the inner panic, and it makes you part of your womanhood. And I got a fertility test, and my new gynecologist is a different gynecologist. She's like, let's do a fertility test. Like, your eggs are like very fertile. You got a few years left, So here's my time limit, right? So then you're like, what, 46, 47? I'm like, okay, I got like 3 or 4 years to meet somebody to have kids with. But listen to what I'm saying again, right? And
Yeah.
that's not fair to the other human being. That's not
No.
fair. If I did do that, oh, I just married you to have kids. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
not okay, right?
Yeah.
And so then you have to really work hard, and this is where the peace comes from. You have to dig in to find peace and say, my life is not going to look like everybody else's.
Right.
Tell me
Yeah.
what I need to do.
Right. It's your life. I think the most important thing is for you to be happy with yourself
Mm-hmm.
first. First.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But once you are comfortable with yourself. Actually, I'm going to use the word love. When you truly come to a place of
Yeah.
loving yourself, and that's when you feel whole. And I really believe whatever that desire is that you're wanting, it will come to you. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go out and search, even if it is for a baby or whatever it is, a marriage or whatever. When we are happy with ourselves, I believe that's where the attraction comes.
Yeah.
But we don't worry about it. I think we just have to focus on, our peace within ourselves, our relationship, with God,
Mm-hmm.
and just be happy. Focus on being happy with number one, you. And I think after that, let your life flow.
Mm-hmm.
Let it flow. Let everything just be in alignment with peace. And I would just say that that's where the happiness is. It's not so much, I got to do this to get that. I have to have this
Mm-hmm.
career, then I'll be happy. If I do this, then I'll be happy. And if I go there, then I'll be happy. You're searching out when happiness and wholeness and peace is within. And that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Because that feeling fades away once you get that
Yeah.
you're always in search for something else. You're
Yeah.
either living in the
Then what's
past or
the
you're
next
living
thing?
in the future, but you're not living in the present.
Yeah. So true. It's like a destination. We get to a
Mm-hmm.
destination, and then it's like, oh, now what? Where do we go
Yeah.
from here?
Yeah.
Yet your dream was, I can't wait. Like when the book was being published, it's going to be the best and happiest day of my life. I was so excited. I worked so hard for it. And oh my God, I will never, ever forget when I opened the front door and the big box from Amazon was there. The first shipment was there. And I was like, this is so exciting. And I remember opening it, remember grabbing the book, remember looking at it, and I thought, wow, it's completed. Now what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that incredible?
And you have to be open to the unknown. I think the greatest fear is the unknown, kind of going back to the fertility test and whatnot. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take this day by day. And when I came to the point where I did see the doctor and she's like, you know what? We got a couple of months left. I'm not going to lie. I sat in my car and I cried
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, there's no more, like, my time's kind of running out, but at the same time, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
and you have to come to these
Come
choices,
to terms. Yeah.
and you have to be okay. Like, I had to have peace with my decision,
Yeah.
right? And I am a foster parent now. I am a single, and I have this kid who calls me every day. He's back with his mom, who tells me he's going to spend the whole weekend with me, packs up his suitcase and says, "Okay, pick me up on Friday." And he and I are so much alike. Like, our personalities are like, you would never guess he wasn't my biological son.
Oh my gosh, what a blessing.
And he's 12 and he fits my lifestyle. I'm sorry. And I know a lot of people are like, you should get a baby. I'm like, babies don't kind of fit my lifestyle right now. The 12-year-old fits my lifestyle. And the
Yeah.
12-year-old gets my butt going to go take hikes over the weekend.
Yeah.
And is there a part of me that ever wonders, I wonder what if I would have had any biological kids, what they would look like? But as my relationship develops stronger and, he and I get closer, those thoughts don't exist, because when I look at him, I see me.
Wow.
And so, being 50 and looking back, I've made the right choices.
Yeah.
And there's no question anymore for me. But it took me this whole time. So if someone's listening in your 30s and you're trying to figure this out, it takes a while to figure it out, because you have to have life experience to reflect back upon. But I hope I give you hope. Yeah.
Right, right. And it goes back to you're back at peace with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's you having peace with yourself. I also want to talk about the joys of life. And we both had our journeys,
Mm-hmm.
but isn't the joy in the journey? Like when we
It's joy.
have our goals, there really is no destination. Like once you complete the big goal, like, okay, then what? The joy is in the journey. The joy is in me and you here right now for such a time as this.
Yeah.
And there's joy in it because, we're having wonderful conversations and we're collaborating and it's a beautiful thing. And it's like, okay, and then tomorrow is another thing, but the joy is in the journey. And I think if we learn to be present, I love what you said, be at peace with yourself, know thyself, be at peace with yourself. But to be present is the most beautiful gift. And yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like when I look back in, rearing my kids, both of my daughters, I remember just rushing a lot, rushing, go to school, all right, go to practice, and just, I wouldn't enjoy the moments. And now, I'm an empty nester. And now I think about those times, the regrets, and I don't want to regret, because I have beautiful relationship with my daughters now. But it's like, man, the joy is in the moment. What have I learned? I've learned that the joy is in the moment with anybody you come across with. If you're walking and you meet somebody and say hi, the joy is in the moment. And that's how I want to live my life now.
Yeah, and something for the audience to think about is, are you living in your present moment?
Yeah.
Are you at peace with right now?
Yeah.
Are you looking too much? Are you thinking about the past? I mean, I think that's one of the greatest lessons I've learned is, are you looking at the past, or you keep looking? I mean, we have to set goals and stuff. That's a little bit different. Goal setting is different. Ambition, things, our dream boards. But are you looking towards the future to get out of the past? Realizing that you're missing the present.
Yeah.
Are we missing the present? What are we doing today?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times, because I think this is another opportunity I think COVID has given, is that it's allowed us to chill, right? Like, I'm in chill mode, but I'm living in my present because I've slowed it down. I've taken the time to relax. I actually have time to binge watch once in a while, but I can't do it too much. I have to put the brakes on myself, because it can get addicting. But when I take the moment to slow down. And anyone who knows me, I am like Speedy Gonzalez, like I am Mrs. Roger Rabbit, right? I'm able to appreciate those around me better.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who would read, I need to take the opportunity to reach out. I think sometimes I talk to people. I'm an extrovert, so me reaching out is a natural thing for me. But talking to friends, like, well, no one called to invite me. No one called me today. If you're in that place where you might be feeling kind of lonely or feeling like no one cares about you, you take the lead. You be the one to take that initiative and say, I haven't talked. I Facebooked a friend 2 days ago that I haven't talked to in like 2 years. She and I went to high school together, and maybe we say bump into each other once a year. Call that old friend up and say, hey, how you doing? Like, it's been a while. Or Facebook message them.
Yeah.
Because you don't know whose life you're going to touch by doing that.
Absolutely. I think the time is now to make the effort to friend people and to really bring those connections, because in our connections with people, that's where love is, that's where healing is. Coming together is a beautiful thing, but yet during this time we have been made to pull apart, to isolate, and actually it's hurtful actually for us. It really is. So do everything you can to stay connected. I actually am tired of Zoom, but I'm being honest.
Zoomed out. I think all of us are zoomed out, right?
Yeah, but whatever it takes, get on the phone and just make friends with people, get closer to people. This is a wonderful time to reconnect with old relationships, or even mend relationships. This would be a perfect time for healing, you know, maybe with families, friends, it doesn't matter, but I think it's a perfect time to heal thyself.
And take that chance on you.
Yes.
Some people might say, well, I don't have a network like you, Jenny and Sonia. I don't have a large group of friends. I just know one person, and that's okay.
Hmm.
There's no shame in that. Do not feel ashamed in that. But if you're feeling very isolated, look up a meetup. There was a time, I grew up here in Sonoma County. I lived in LA for 13 years. When I came back home, I had to restart my whole friendship group again. And it was a lonely time for me. And I missed the Southern California sun. I missed the beaches. I came to Northern California. It rained every day for a month. And I cried. I'm so miserable here. I'm happy now, but I had to work to build that network. I did meetups. I did meetup hikes. One time I did an REI. I went, was it rowing, not rowing, forgot what those boats called, in the ocean, the Oakland Bay through REI. I did an REI event, and I show up to these things and I don't know anybody there, And like I mentioned before, I go out with my girlfriends. I do the girlfriend trips, but every few months I need my Gen time.
Yes.
And that Gen time means I pack my bags, I go in a car, I let people know where I'm at, where I'm doing, and I spend time with me. And I meet people along the way.
I love that.
Or take a plane trip, and people will come up to you, and you got to be careful. But, the last one I did was last year, and I went to Oregon and I took a boat trip on the Rogue River. It's the most amazing experience. And I met some ladies there, and I had lunch and dinner with them. It was fun.
Oh, that's so awesome. And that takes, it takes that self-love for you to feel like, what? Me, myself, and I, we're just going to go and have a great time and meet new people and have an adventure. It really is like an adventure, but you're at a place in your life where you're comfortable with yourself, and there's self-love, and you know thyself. And I think right now, I would love to challenge the people that are watching to get to that place. Maybe some of you are afraid to be alone, and we've been forced to be alone, and it's been very, very tough, but this is a perfect time to work on yourself. And that's why I started that group, Resilient Mindset, so I can just pour my heart in there. And when I feel led, I'm showing up, I'm posting, because I know I've talked to so many people, and I'm coaching people that are hurting. I want to say loneliness is a big one right now. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay to, like, when I was probably in my late 20s, early 30s, there were times I just wanted to see a movie. Nobody wanted to see the same movie I wanted to see. So I'm like, I guess I can't see the movie. I got to wait till DVD. But I came to a point in life where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go catch a movie. No one's into this movie that I'm into. I'm going to go watch it. And
Yeah.
when I first did that, there was a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have the
All
power,
by yourself.
right? I have the power to go and watch this movie alone. I have the power to go to a restaurant and have lunch by myself or a dinner by myself, and while I'm reading a book, because
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I don't want to eat at home, but I really want to be
Yeah.
out to dinner,
Yeah.
and I just want to keep time to myself. And it's okay.
Yeah. It is okay.
It's
And
okay.
there's a time for everything. There's a time to be with family. There's a time to be with friends. And there's a time to be alone and do whatever you want to do. And it's okay. You just got to get to that place where there's a difference between being alone and being
Mhm.
lonely. There is
Exactly.
a difference. And so just learn to love yourself and love that alone time. It's a growth process because you get time to meditate and to think
Oh, yeah.
life and a lot
Well,
of
one
stuff.
of the best things about traveling by yourself is like you don't have to check in with anybody,
Yeah,
and
you
you can be like, okay, these are all the things I want to do the next 2 days. You don't
yeah,
have to plan an agenda, or if you want to keep your agenda, but you don't have to like, oh, what does this person want to do? Okay, what time do we check in? You just do your thing, and
do
it's so
it. Yeah.
freeing. But yes, do I have my time with my girlfriends, my family, and and I have some really great guy friends,
Yes.
just platonic guy friends,
Yes.
and that's something that I think as women, um, we don't recognize how
Embrace enough.
important
Yeah.
the
A
men in
lot of
your
good
life
men out there.
are,
A lot of
huh?
good friends. A lot of good men out there and a lot of good friends.
And a lot of good friends. And, I hope some of my guy friends are listening, but they're the ones I go to. I'm like, oh, she's asking for advice again, but they come to me for advice too, right?
Yeah.
And they challenge me, but they also treat me with respect.
Mm.
And they're also very protective with me. So if I'm dating
Those are the
somebody,
good ones.
if I'm dating someone and they, bring him into my little network, they're like, who's this guy? They're like my brothers, right? So
That's super
um,
cool.
friendships of the opposite sex, I would say, is vitally important
I
to
agree.
who we are and our being.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be romantic. It doesn't always have to
Absolutely.
be sexual. It doesn't always have to be,
No.
let's just
And
go
then
hang out. Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, and I personally have had wonderful men come into my life just for the sake of serving because they love the whole women empowerment and they want to know how they can serve. And to me, I honor that. I honor men that honor women in
Right?
the most respectful way. And I really do. I mean, I can think of three of them right now, and I would do anything for them because they've been there for me,
Mhm.
and it's a beautiful thing. It's just enjoy the good in life, the good in relationships, and it's okay to be in a relationship.
It's
You
okay to
know?
be in a relationship. Yeah, it's okay to be
Yeah,
in a
that's
relationship.
okay
Yes.
too. But having a solid friends that, like you said, they respect you. And as a woman, when we're respected by a man friend,
Hmm.
that's powerful, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, like you mentioned, like how they help you with events. So, me, I also do a lot of event planning, and my guy friends are always like, hey, Jenny, can we put some chairs away? Can we list some tables?
Yes.
Now, let's take that into context of my dating life. My guy friends have set an expectation.
Yeah.
If I'm dating someone who after an event sees me running around and seeing my guy friends doing nothing and they're just having sitting down having a glass of wine, not going to work for me, right? Because
Yeah.
my guy friends showed me good, what a good man can be like, like
Right.
good, like respectful, and I'm going to be helpful. I'm like, why am I going to date someone who's not going to help me? My guy friends do.
Well, they set a standard.
Without expectation for me,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
absolutely. They have set
Mhm.
a good standard, and we know what we want also as
Mhm.
women. It goes back to, don't settle, find a man that's worthy of your honor and your respect as a woman, and especially if you're a leader, as a woman leader, because we're leaders. And
And it takes very confident men. I mean,
it does. No.
I feel bad for the man, like, oh, she has to go to another networking event. Like, thank you for your patience.
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful thing. So all the men out there that are good, that honor women, we honor you.
We honor you, yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said, I've dated some really good men. So some people say, well, why didn't you marry any of them? Because we were very much alike. And when you're dating a very good person and
Yeah,
you both have different goals and
yeah.
and different ambitions, and you're not really ready to settle down, you don't get married, but you become friends.
Right.
And I still, and not to say I didn't have any bad apples in my life, because I did.
Mhm.
I've had some bad apples.
I think we all have.
We all have, right? But the the good apples, have set bars, right?
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. I don't want to say it just didn't work out. We just weren't in the we were in the same space at same time when our paths were supposed to cross, and it
Yeah.
was time for us to go to separate paths.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And that's okay.
and that's
It
okay.
wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. If they're not the
Yeah.
ones, they're not the ones. That's really how I see it.
And
I
you have
use
to be okay with that.
Yes. You have to be okay with that, and see the good,
Mm-hmm.
in the good times, and go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
wish you the best and bless you. Bye. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Why keep in touch? So I'm like, oh, like, oh, you're doing so good and you're happy. And makes me happy to see you happy.
Yeah.
Right. And then it opens yourself up. Like, so going back to your original question, yeah, I would, I always have this saying, it's never too late to fall. Well, I've fallen in love before. So, but it's never too late for romance. It's never too late for love. My grandmother, twice divorced, and not that my grandfather was like the perfect man or he cheated on her. I mean, it's straightforward. She single mom, 12 kids, married a second time, didn't
Wow.
work out. She found the love of her life at I think she was 73.
I love it.
She was absolutely in love. And her boyfriend passed away before she did. And when he passed away, because they lived in a senior apartment
Oh yeah.
complex,
Uh-huh.
all the people were telling on her and saying, "Did you know your mom was shacking it up with Billy?" We're like, "What, grandma?"
I love
She has
it.
been my inspiration.
Don't tell
And
me that.
she dated. My grandmother had such an active dating life in her late 60s, early
Oh my
70s. She was
God.
happy.
Well, as
So
long as
you never know.
you
I
never
think the important thing
know.
is, for me, the answer is yes, but I've never put a time frame on it.
Well, you know what? Welcome it in your heart and just allow it to come in the right timing. God's perfect timing is perfect timing. And that's how I say things.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, just allow it
And
to
I know myself better now.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm ready to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, girl,
I
you're a
dated,
busy bee.
yeah, I know I dated this great human being um, not too long ago, but I was too busy.
Oh, you weren't ready.
And
You just
but I wasn't ready to let go what I was doing. I had my thing, and we're friends. He moved to Southern California, but
yeah.
it's like, but I don't regret letting that go. And I
See?
think you have to be careful because you might say, "Oh no, I'm ready. I let him go," or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't regret it. I enjoy, like you said, enjoy. and appreciate that experience
That experience of time. Yeah.
and what he taught me in life, right?
Yeah.
He's a very intelligent human being. And what did I learn from him? And what did he learn from me?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
It was just part of that journey, girl. We
part of
go
the
back
journey.
to that. We go back to that journey, and with me, I'm 54 years old, and yeah, I would love to marry one day, I would, but I'm not going after it. I'm not rushing and you know, I don't know. I am seeing somebody right now. He's a very special person, sweetest man I've ever met in my entire life. But I don't know. I'm not gonna go, okay, time's down. Like, no, let it flow, and we'll just take it from there. Just enjoy life.
You take your time and you build that friendship, right? You take your time.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
we have to, I don't know if men go through this, but I think as women, we have to remind ourselves, and not just remind ourselves, but really fight within to know that our value is not dependent upon being in a relationship.
No, no, no. I coach on that. No, no, be in relationship with yourself first.
Mhm.
Know yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, and be in that, just be so grounded with who you are. When you get to that place and the desire, if you have a desire, I believe that you're going to attract everything you desire. But first things first, know thyself,
Mhm.
love thyself, honor and just, walk in your divine purpose and just let things come to you. You'll be amazed how it just all things just will come together in the most beautiful way. You will be standing
Mhm.
on miracle ground when you do that.
Yeah.
So that I really want to,
And a lot of times you have to, you try to explain that to others.
yeah,
Again, going back to just be as strong as you can. And look at me and Sonia, we've been through this. This is where we're at now. And I still have to struggle with others. Like, oh, you're not married, or,
yeah,
well, why don't you take time out? Whatever it is, you put it, like right now I have a candle here, and
yeah,
and if you have to go to the ocean or go to your quiet place
yeah.
to meditate and pray or whatever it is that you do, your religious practice,
Hmm.
and find that peace, because those voices from the outside are like flies
Yes.
flying over your head,
Oh, yes.
and they annoy you to the point where it drives you crazy. But remember, other people might say your value is based upon being in a relationship, but know, like Sonia said, know yourself. Your value is not, it's who you were created to be.
Hmm.
And look, like who am I created to be?
Yeah,
What is my purpose, in life? And our purposes, you might say, oh, Jenny and Sonia, they're leaders. That everyone has a different purpose. Some people's purpose is to be a mom. Your
yeah,
purpose might be walking dogs, being a dog walker,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Whatever your purpose is, whether it be through meditation or prayer, try to find that, because that's where your value is. Because if we attach our value to either men or a friend group, that happens. Oh, I want to be part of that group. I don't feel accepted, or those people don't think I'm quite cool. Like I'm kind of like a former nerdy. Why am I a little nerdy girl? You know, um, you know, we continue to try to seek acceptance from others to be a part of our value. That's something that doesn't last. It's only, like Sonia said, temporary, right? I think a little while ago you said, Sonia, that you're always trying to strive for something. I got this, I got that. Same with our value.
Yeah.
If we strive for a value, finding it and having others give us value to who
Yeah.
we are,
Outside of ourselves.
exactly.
Mhm.
Then yeah, then that comes a whole variety of different emotions. And I'm not going to say that I never done that, because I have. I'm 50 now.
I
It's a little
think we
bit
all have.
different for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I say this because I've experienced it.
Hmm. Yeah.
No.
And it's empty. You know, when we're outside of ourselves searching for love or peace or joy and all that, it's so empty, you know, it's just, and but then you just keep searching and you keep searching because it's not filling your cup. It's not giving you that wholeness. But once we get to know who we are, we love ourselves, we forgive ourselves. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Well, we really forgive ourselves. It's okay, you know. If you would have done better if you knew better, but now you do, you know, and you'll do better next time. And you remove every sabotage, every emotion, you know, that affects us. And yeah, it's I would say do your best to be happy
Mhm.
and think about those things that make you happy and what is that for you, because what makes me happy is going to be different for what makes you happy. So what is that, what brings happiness and wholeness to you at this moment in time? And right now I think we need to be very strong and know that,
Yeah.
because outside of ourselves, the world, our country is in chaos. So now we have to look within and say, okay, there's no peace out here, but can I find peace within me? Can I find peace with everyone I'm in contact with, so that so I find meaning and purpose in my life? And I think we need to hone in on that, because there's a lot of people right now that are depending on the country and the world to bring them peace. Well, good luck, because that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So, and yeah,
Mhm.
anytime soon. So
Yeah.
right now, right? So right now, make peace with yourself, make peace with your relationship, you know, with God, with self, with people you love. Just do your best, you know. And there are times we'll need to forgive people. We don't need to have a
Yeah.
relationship with them though. But forgive them for you, so you can take the ball and chain off and live whole right now. Come to that place. And I know that for a lot of people, that's still very, it's easier said than done. I hear that
Mhm.
it's easier said than done. And you're right. And that was me for a long time. And I went and got the help. You know, I got my own coach, you know, and I brought my own healing. And because I know what personal development has done for me, now I realize that this was my divine purpose, you know, to reach out to people and to help people become whole, to help them walk on their miracle ground. And when I say miracle ground, is meaning this: once you get to a place of knowing thyself, you're healed, you're restored, you have brought transformation into your life. There is absolute, I'm telling you right now, miracles will come your way, because now you have a renewed mindset.
Yeah.
And now you're going to focus on the good. When you focus on things that are good, good will come to you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all about you walking in your power, walking and believing that life is good. You're a good person. You're doing good to people. You're being the best version that you know how to be. Then how could it not? You will
Mhm.
attract the right man in your life. You will attract everything. But get to that
Mhm.
place of divine purpose. What is that for you? What does that look like for you? So right now, my new mission this year is positioning. That's what I'm doing. I'm positioning not only myself, because you know our times have shifted, so we need to reposition this our hearts. But I'm helping people position themselves so they can be able to come back, get back on their feet, get
Mhm.
strong again, know their purpose, know what they want, and walk it out.
Like that TLC song. Is it at first, if I'm not going to try to sing, but at first, if you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again, right? Because
Right?
each
Yeah.
time you pick yourself up, you get stronger and stronger. And I like what you said, Sonia. It's like you'll attract people. Like,
Yeah.
there's people, again, like I mentioned, who mean well, and I'm talking from a perspective of those of you who are single and around my age group or a little bit younger, and people will there's people out there who give you a hard time, whether they mean well or they're just being nasty.
Yeah.
You get some people are just mean,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh, that was just a stab to my heart. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes every bit of you
Yeah.
to be strong and
You're right.
stand firm and gain that strength and stand up.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you have to tell them off or anything. It depends on the situation. I'm not going to say I never told anyone off for trying to bug into my life,
Mm-hmm.
but there's times where I've received it with love. And but let them know that you're okay. But
Yeah.
do know this. You can tell them 10 million times that you're okay and that you're happy, but you're not living the vision that they think. You're not living within that vision that they feel everyone else needs to live, or how they're living their life. Like, oh, you're supposed to do this and this. You're not doing this. How can you be happy? And you have to give grace. You have to love, and you have to accept that.
Yeah.
You see them at a party or something, you might want to avoid that person. Like, oh, they're gonna ask me this question again. Oh, but do know that if you have anyone in your circle, because as you get older, your friends are gonna kind of, some of them are get married, some of them, even though they're married, you still have a strong like I have a lot of married friends that I still have a very strong relationship with. But as time goes on, your life changes, your lifestyle changes.
Evolve.
So
Yeah.
you attract people who are in your present moment.
Yeah.
And this message is for the introverts, because the extroverts is very easy for us. Gotta take a risk on life.
Yes.
You've got to take that risk and put yourself out there.
Yes. Absolutely.
When I first started networking and going to like mixers, I would either hang out by the wine or by the food, because I didn't know anybody. And I would just sit there, and then when you're like, oh, here's some cheese, you start having conversation. I made actually some friends by the food, by the food thing, and the network mixers, And I wasn't never one at the time to go up to a crowd of people and start talking to them. Like, I don't know these people. So that's what I would do. And then I started volunteering.
Yeah.
And if you ever think about volunteering, you're volunteering at a fundraiser. I either volunteer at check-in or I volunteer serving the wine, because either way, when you're doing check-in, you're the first smile they see. And when you're giving them wine, you're making them happy.
Yeah, very true.
And I made friends through that, friends years ago that I'm still in contact with today.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you do have to put yourself out there. And I think I love what you said. The easiest way to get into community serving, just get out there and find your spot, something that you're passionate about, and just get out there and serve.
Yeah, and then you find people who are within your current lifestyle, because I mean, our lifestyles change periodically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then that becomes your support group.
Yes.
When other people who love you dearly don't understand your life, but you're in community with others who have that same lifestyle, they're like, like, oh, there's other people like me. Okay, I'm not the oddball. I'm not weird. I'm not lost in, or whatever. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important. You have to reach out. You can't wait for it to come knocking at your door.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put yourself out there and take that risk.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
scary. It's scary, but you do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we take risks all the time. I think the greatest risk is not taking the risk. You'll never know what's out there if you don't take the risk. And that's the greatest risk, I think,
Yeah, I always have the saying, set your goal high, because the worst thing that can happen is that you can even come halfway.
Right. Exactly. I'm glad I jumped. I jumped scared. I jumped not knowing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm glad I did. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. And there's times where you need to retract. There's times where, like, well, I need to slow down. I need to take a few steps back. Sometimes you need to take 5 steps back to move 10 steps forward.
Yes.
And that's okay too.
Yeah. Oh, it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Because we learn, you'll hear a lot of successful people say, fail and fail fast. Learn fast, hurry, learn and keep moving, keep going, keep going. Oh, learn again, fail forward.
Mm-hmm. Or reinvent your dreams. I think, like, when I was probably in my like 30s, early 40s, I went to law school, but I never got to finish because the recession happened. And I had to, get 2 jobs to help my family and whatever. But
Mm.
I was always like this thorn on my side, right? And now I look, I'm like, dreams can be invented. That was a dream of mine. And yeah, I could finish. Don't have, in Spanish, we call it the ganas, the need or the want to finish. But I have new dreams. And this podcast is one of them. So it's replaced it. And
Awesome.
I'd rather have this than that.
Yeah.
So if you didn't achieve some of your goals or your dreams, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you new ones probably took their place that your heart was more passionate about.
Absolutely. I
Mhm.
agree. Yeah. So it's up to you if you want to have, I don't know if you want to do
Oh, Q&A.
Q&A.
It's 7 o'clock. Okay.
I
So we're
can't
gonna
see anybody, so I don't know.
okay, so now it's time for Q&A, guys, and we're gonna go to the comment section. Anna Lugo mentioned in the comments, let's see, we gotta kind of, whoops, I'm in the wrong section here, 1 second. Here we go. Comments. Oh, we got a lot of comments, Sonia,
Ah.
but I'm trying to see them all. Here we go. Maybe if I saw them on my phone, please bear with us
Yes.
as we try to figure out how to, here we go. Sylvia says, if at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again. Thank you, Sylvia.
Yes.
Sylvia.
Yes.
Let's see, why can't we see all the comments though? Okay, well, I'm gonna try to read them through my phone. Sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. I found him. Okay. Linda Mayberry Chavez says, really great exchange, ladies. Fun to watch and listen. Thank you, Anna. Go, Anna. Yasmin this was so good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sylvia says, true, everyone is so isolated. Anna says, yes, isolation is a major illness in this country, right? Sonia, you were just saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any questions for us? I see great comments. Sylvia says, many years ago, Sylvia Lemos, thank you for commenting. She says, many years ago when I was single, I was lonely, but don't know why, because now I cherish my me time.
I love it.
Right? I hear my married friends say, my me time, the grass is, Sonia, let's talk about the grass not being greener on the other side.
Right?
Can you share a little bit about that?
About the grass being greener?
No, the grass not being greener on the other side. Yes. I think single people say, oh, if I was married, and then your married friends always say, well, you got your alone
green
time.
when you water it. So whatever you want green, water it to make it green.
Sylvia went on to say, whether single or in a relationship, time with yourself and friends is very important. Yes.
Agree.
Yes, and I got many more juicy stories to share. Crystal Diamante says, your value is to be in a relationship with yourself first.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Sylvia says, be whole with yourself first. Thank you, Crystal. 50 and beautiful. Yes, I am 50. I love what Anna Lugo says. Be your own best chingona or chigonex. Chigonex. Our world needs us to practice radical self-love and to uplift each other, especially as Latinx women. Preach it, Anna, said Sylvia. Let's see, we got more. Sylvia says the best thing you can do is pray for your enemy. And then Melissa says, I enjoyed the positive banter, very uplifting. Thank you, everyone. So if there's no further comments, Sonia, I'm gonna put it back to you. You're the host for today.
Okay, well, awesome. We still welcome questions if you guys do have any questions for us. But yeah, I mean, if I just want to bring this full circle is, again, focus on you. If there's healing that needs to happen in your life right now, focus on that. Right now, build yourself up, equip yourself, position yourself right now. Right now is the time to do that. Stay strong, stay strong. If you are needing help, get the help, whatever that looks like for you. If you're depressed, get the help. If you're wanting to truly live out your life purpose, get the help for that. I needed help for all of that. And I'm so grateful that I did. There's a lot of things we cannot do on our own. We always need someone to guide us and to mentor us. And it's just so important. It's just don't settle with yourself. We didn't talk about that, but don't settle with yourself. You know, just live your highest goal and be happy. But what does that look like for you? And are you happy? Coach yourself, ask yourself a bunch of questions and know where you're at right now. Know where you're at right now and know where you want to be and who you want to become. And whatever that is that you want to become, get to the place where you own it now. Own it now. Okay. Again, everything's within. Okay. We're not looking for stuff outside of ourselves. Everything's within. So whatever that is, if you're saying, I want to be like one of the most confident people on the entire planet, then work on that and be that today and be that tomorrow and be better and get better and just make it happen. Don't, don't settle. Don't settle with yourself. Life is short and we're not promised tomorrow. As you can see, we are not promised tomorrow. So make the best of yourself. Take the risk. Take the risk. I started events 10 years ago with zero. I just had zero experience. I was scared to death, but I asked a lot of questions and I just failed forward. And failing forward, I had over 100 women a month. I was creating events every month when I first started, and I had 100 women. Crazy. Don't ask me how I did it. Don't. I just got fierce and I positioned myself. I was ready. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go ask her and her and her. Maybe I should ask the mayor. You think she'll help me? I'm going to go ask her. Mayor, and helping me. You'd be amazed what you have on the inside. Just get creative, but it doesn't happen until you position yourself. We always want to get out there and I want to achieve this, I want to do that. And then you're like, that was stupid. Get that out of my mind. No, the reason why you did that is because something in your heart or in your head told you probably don't belong there or you're not good enough. And that's what you need, the work. Okay, you need that work. And that's the work that I do. That's the positioning. Like you're right here. You've already done so much work to get you where you want to be, but now you're ready to jump and you won't. And you won't. And that's what you need to figure out is this space right here. Why? Why don't you? And anyways, that's why I'm a life purpose coach, because I take people, I cross them over. I do. I hold their hand, say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I just go deep within and I figure out what those issues are. And it's the most beautiful thing. Transformation, you guys, is the most beautiful thing. We should continue to evolve and evolve. All last year, I guess what? We all need to evolve again. If you really think about it, because we're living in a new world now. So we need to evolve again, And so anyways, yeah.
We got some more comments, Sonia.
Yeah.
Delia says, fail forward. Love this. Thank you, Adriana. And Anna says, Jenny, what are you hoping to get to do in 2021? Travel again. I miss traveling. I got to find a good place to take a nice road trip. I'm needing some road trip. I'm writing my blog. So there's different ways to get to my blogs. I have one called Single Fabulous and Fostering.com, and it talks about my journey from when I first began inquiring about being a foster parent up until my experiences to now. I got it updated, but it will be updated soon. And in my current blog, I want to write a book, Sonia.
Yes, girl.
And so I'm doing bits and pieces of my blog, and then I'm going to put them all together, but add more detail to it.
Of course.
And I think people like us, we're pioneering women. Someone asked me about mentors, and what I saw in the future, and being 50, single, and fabulous.
Yes.
There's not too many women before this generation that have gotten here.
Yeah.
Because previous generations have always gotten married and did the traditional thing. So we're whoever's in my club, we're the pave makers.
Yeah.
We have chosen the road less traveled,
Yeah.
and we are the ones who are showing the next generation that it's okay to be where we're at,
Yeah.
and we're happy, we're enjoying life, and not to worry about the future because we made it this far, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's to answer your and to do more podcasts. So if you guys have any suggestions, um, Facebook message me. And what other topics would you like to see? In December we saw COVID, household of one during COVID. I don't always want. I'm not going to make this a whole singles person thing. But if there's any issues or things that you guys like to see, let us know, and we'll continue these podcasts once a month. And I'll let everyone know when my new blog comes in. And Sonia, you're offering 1 month of coaching. Can
Yes.
you now, before we go,
Yes.
can you tell
It's
the
called
audience a little about
discovery coaching. If any of this resonated with any of you and you're feeling like, man, I just want a conversation with somebody. I just want to connect and see if this will help me. I would love to help you, and I would love to give you a discovery call, which would be a one free call. And I will help you. I will give you a couple of things that you can take away right now, once we set up a time. So what you can do is, I guess through here, you can probably private message me on Facebook if you are interested. And yeah, let's make that connection. What I would say is, don't settle. If you're not fully um, happy or content with your life right now, don't settle. Don't settle. Make this your best year. Let's rise up. And I would love to. It's my passion. It's my purpose, and I would be more than happy to do that for you.
right? And I put Sonia's info into the comments. And before we go, Carmen says, Sonia, love it. Position yourself. Um, with that, I hope everyone got something out of this. I was telling Sonia I'm pretty nervous because Pat, these are my passion projects. I have my everyday job, my life, and I love my job. Don't get me wrong, but these are something at this point in time in my life I'm ready to pursue some of my passion projects. So, and you know what, gentlemen, if you ever want to be on this show, and we can talk about some guy
That would
projects,
be
some
great.
guy stuff.
Let's look at relationships.
Yeah, I want to know, who wants to know men's perspective on
Yes.
relationships, right? Like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that would be so
yeah, come on,
fun.
guys. Come on.
Yes.
We need to hear from you. And we want you, men have a hard time being raw and real. So if they want to bring out the Kleenex, I doubt they will, but they're more than welcome to. So, gentlemen, my guy friends, beware. I'm going to be asking you, but I also would like a broader audience of gentlemen on
Yes.
the next podcast as well. And we'll check the Facebook question marks one more time. Thank you. Okay. Sonia,
Yes.
thank you. I love you. I called
We
Sonia
had a blast.
birthday and I said, I need to just share the world
Yeah.
that I am 50, single, fabulous, and happy. And,
Yes.
and
Awesome, girl.
let the world know that we ladies, whether we were married, divorced, or been single, we can be happy women living a full adventurous life. We're the women who've chosen adventure. We've lived an adventurous life, and you are loved, you are valued. And if we
Yes.
don't know you, know that we love and value now.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are valued, and don't settle.
Don't
Live your
settle.
best life. Live it.
It's better to wait than to make mistakes.
Yes.
Yes, but yes, don't settle because you deserve more than that. You are a beautiful human being
Yes.
and you deserve more. And your expectations are not unreasonable. It's
Yeah.
okay. That's who you are.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. And we'll be sending out information. We'll be throughout the week, I'll be sending more information on some of Sonia's workshops and her coaching. I have benefited from that. We didn't really talk about a book. We co-wrote a book together called
Yes.
Was it Destiny Women Talk, Destiny Talks.
Destiny Talks. Yes.
Destiny Talks, sorry. I'm so excited tonight. Destiny Talks, it's become an international bestseller.
Yes.
And it's a conversations with 21 women that Sonia has had.
Yes.
And we share our lives and how we got here. Huh?
Powerful stories, powerful testimonies of these women, and they all succeeded against all odds. It's a very incredible book, and I've been so busy doing other things I haven't really marketed, but it is on Amazon. You could just on books, just Google Sonia Hassey and poof, my books will show up, and the Destiny Talks will show up.
Destiny Talks. So we'll be sharing links on that this week. And Sonia, I hope to have you back again. It was really great doing the show with you.
Absolutely.
Love you. Love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Sorry, I gotta.